I'm as ready as I can be, and I will bring the fight to Aloysius.
Hello. 36.5.
I hope to do my best, and I hope the balls go into my favor, and I'll just play my game. Yeah.
Good evening, One Players watching all over the world. I hope this Sunday night finds you well. Welcome into the One Play Sports Spectrum. We have got a special night of live sporting action for you. It's the grand final of the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball invitational matchup, the first live sport to return to Singapore post-circuit breaker, and we're bringing it live to you tonight, as we have done all week, right here on One Play Sports. The live action is just a few moments away, but I'm delighted joining us in the spectrum tonight ahead of this historic occasion is the founder and CEO of One Play Sports, Mr. Mohit Lalvani. And first off, Mohit, what a week it's been, and how proud are you that it's One Play Sports that have brought live sport back to Singapore?
I think it's wonderful, but we must thank our partners here, you know,
Cuesports Singapore.
Cuesports Singapore for what they've done. Chris Chua has been a wonderful support to this event. And let me also, next up, say I want to wish both contestants all the very best. I think it's been an incredibly stressful week for everybody in the sense that, you know, it's been very high quality pool. And I think, you know, we've really found some deep reserves to be able to find our best as a team at One Play Sports, to be able to be innovative at a time like this, Patrick. I think we're in a situation today where bringing live sport almost makes you feel pioneering. And I think One Play Sports has been pretty pioneering in what we've done so far. It's really exciting to be a part of this.
Yeah, One Play Sports has led the way, and let's hope there's plenty more sports to follow. We're working on some exciting projects as Mohit and myself stand here right now. And of course, just to remind everyone, if you're tuning in for the first time tonight, strict COVID precautions taken. Everyone's scanning in and out. There's sanitizers for all the players and all the skeleton crew that we're employing here to bring you the live broadcast of this event. And of course, everybody here has observed COVID protocols. The players, like Mohit and myself, will be wearing masks during the competition, and social distancing will be observed, including by the referee. And that's very important, Mohit, because I think we need to build trust back up amongst sport in Singapore, so the powers that be have the confidence that to know that if it's done properly, as we've done it properly here, live sport can gradually come back.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I think the way the Singapore government has handled this has just been exemplary. You know, it's a statement for the world, if you ask me. You know, we've been working with Sports SG right through the lockdown, through the circuit breaker, to ensure that there's been some kind of engagement with people sitting at home so that they can stay fit. And, you know, as we start to pivot and as we start to add to, you know, that content bucket, we're now back with live sport. But having said that, none of this would have been possible unless, you know, the team had buckled down, remained part of a really responsible civic society, and done what it's supposed to have done. We've taken very strict measures here at One Play Sports to ensure that all protocol has been met, not just now, but right through, because we understand what an important role this content is playing out for the community at large.
And of course, echoing Mohit's sentiments, not just Chris Chua, the president of Cuesports Singapore, who've been instrumental in this innovation, but I'd like to thank personally Lily Liu and QH, who've been on hand as tournament director and assistant tournament director all week and have run this competition like clockwork. It's been brilliant. We better start talking about the action now. I know you're a big squash man, Mohit. I haven't ever taken you on at Cuesports, but I'm like all of us, I'm sure you've had a game or two here and there. I know you've watched the action from home, and the standard has been electric, and I think we've got the right two finalists, but it's amazing to see what these guys are doing under pressure, because this is the classic game that's easier than it looks when you're watching it at home.
It absolutely is. You know, I mean, it's look, I think the setting is perfect, right? You've got the World Championships snooker going on right now. I think we had a wonderful weekend where both semifinals went the final game. All I can say is I hope we get the same kind of drama right here tonight.
Yeah, well, we had two dramatic semi-finals. I think I misspoke there. I said easier than it looks. It's blooming harder than it looks. Take it from me, because we've been fortunate enough to be playing some Cuesports throughout this week. And my, oh my, it is a game that taxes your stresses and strains, even when you're only playing for fun. These guys, don't forget, are playing for that magnificent trophy behind us. And the winner will take away 1,000 Singapore dollars. The runner-up gets 400, and that's thanks to our prize money sponsors at Eden Resources. So come on, Mohit, you know it all. I'm going to give you option 1 or option 2. Will it be number 1 seed Aloysius Yapp or number 4 seed Sharik Saeed that walks off with that trophy tonight live on One Play Sports?
You know what, Patrick? I'm going to be absolutely politically correct and say may the best man win.
Okay. Very well done. Mohit Lalvani, our founder and CEO here at One Play Sports. We've kept you waiting long enough. The players are backstage waiting to be introduced. So before we bring them into the spectrum, let's remind you of how the bracket is shaped up. Starting, remember, with 10 players back on Monday night. So the 10 players that started on this journey, including the 2 wildcards, that magnificent initiative that gave Jessica Tan, the leading female, a chance to strut her stuff, as well as the leading junior in Singapore in Nicholas Tan. They both fell short ultimately, and that led to our quarter-final lineup. And if we plot the path of our 2 finalists to the final, Aloysius Yapp, pretty straightforward against William Ang. He had his moments. He had to come from behind against Desmond Go at one point to make it through to the final, but make it through to the final he did, and we're delighted he's here. But he'll have tough opposition against a man he's proud to call a very good friend. The 2 of them were in Las Vegas preparing to play in a tournament before COVID-19 hit. They came back to Singapore, and this is their first competitive action since. So it's seed 1, Aloysius Yapp, against seed 4, Sharik Saeed, who came through against Fraser Liu in a seesaw semi-final yesterday. So it's given us our grand final. It's Yapp taking on Saeed. Hopefully it will turn out to be a match for the ages. Introducing first our referee, and how brilliant have our officials been. We'll be recognising their contributions later on this evening. Tonight's referee is Mr. Stefano. Thanks for Stefan and all our officials throughout the course of the week. And now it's time to meet the players. First off, it's the golden boy of Singapore Cuesports, still only 24 years of age. The left-hander who's ranked 1 in Singapore and 4 in Asia. It's Aloysius, the golden boy, Yapp. Well, Aloysius might be quite a mild-mannered chap and perfectly polite off the table. On it, he's absolutely lethal. Credit to Mez Q's and the Q Shop, his sponsors. They'll be watching on with interest tonight. The 2014 World Junior Champion comes here in fine form after competing at a very high level last year, including picking up a medal at the SEA Games in 2019 off the back of his gold medal in 2017. But he's going to be tested tonight like he's never been tested before. Sharik Saeed has been in fine form this week. He's lost some weight, he's got his lifestyle right, and he is lean, mean, and ready for action. Please welcome, it's the Shark, Sharik Saeed. Well, both these players, brilliant ambassadors for Cuesports in Singapore, and Sharik Saeed, of course, experienced stateside with that 2016 US Collegiate National Championship runners-up berth, along with a 2010 National 9-Ball Championship runners-up. He has been an experienced player. He's been on the scene for over a decade, and you get the feeling he fancies his chances at toppling Aloysius Yapp tonight. So with the introductions over, live on One Play Sports, coming to you direct in a COVID-safe environment at the Spectrum, it's the grand final of the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-Ball Invitational Matchup 2020. Referee Stefan Earn
and I'm
will now
delighted,
get
as
the
he was
lag
last
underway.
night. David Ballard is alongside me in the commentary box, and let's see who comes out on top in this lag. They've both been pretty hot on their lag so far this week. Let's see who lands nearest that far cushion. This is going to be very tight, my word. If the match turns out to be as tight as the lag, David, we could be in for an absolute treat.
Exactly. I'm actually looking forward to a very intense game over right here. Even the lag is very close, and we have first rank Sharik, the Shark, Saeed to break.
Of course, don't forget, if you're watching live on the One Play Sports Facebook page, there's Indonesian Bahasa commentary on our One Play Sports Indonesia page. And do let us know that you're watching and where you're watching from. We like to give shout outs and read the comments on the page as the action progresses. So, having won the lag, Sharik Saeed is first to break off in rack number 1 in a race to 11. Potentially 21 racks between one of these men and the title of champion. Both players have been pretty hot off the break as it gets the all clear from Stefanung. One's not helping him here, I don't think, David.
Exactly, I think the ball number 6 has been slightly blocking the one ball. And you have two options here, either to push out or is just to play a safe by splitting the one and the cue ball across the table. Just a preview of the break of Sharik Saeed. Oh my, he's going for the jump shot.
Well, this is a bold start as Sharik tries to send a marker out, but that's gone badly wrong, David.
Exactly, I didn't assume. Probably just the start of the rack, and I didn't expect Sharik Saeed to jump the one ball. But looks like Aloysius Yapp doesn't have a shot on the one, and probably is going to go for a tight safety snook.
So it wasn't a disaster for Sharik, but I think you can be assured he'll be in a lot of trouble after this shot, as Aloysius looks to tie up Sharik behind the 6 here. And a cagey opening rack here. He's right hard up against the steel of the 6 and got the 4 for an insurance policy, as well as the 7 is knocked into open play. Trying to see if the one cushion escape is possible here. I can't quite imagine he's got the angle for it. I mean, one thing's for sure, this game's not going to be won early, I don't think. These two players, as they've proved a week, are capable of coming from behind. We saw that semi-final with Sharik yesterday, where he led 4-2, then trailed 6-4 before reeling off 5 racks on the spin. So both of them will think they can win from any position.
Exactly. So even if there's a rack difference of two racks, I think it's going to be a very, very intense and tight scoreline tonight. A great safety play right there by Aloysius Yapp, trying to use the one ball to bring out the 7, so that if he gets a ball in hand, it's probably going to be open rack clearance for Aloy.
Well, it can change so quickly, this game, can't it? Rack by rack, shot by shot. He's managed to avoid handing Aloysius ball in hand. He got the short stick out straight off the bat there, as if he thought he was going to have to jump this. I wonder if he can see enough of it to dispense with the short stick. We'll find out now. Short stick is out, so we've seen one foul jumper from Sharik. Who's going to nail the first jumper of the night? The artistry involved in this is stunning, but not that time. He's going to be very fortunate with that deflection. He's going to see cover behind the 9 ball. I think there was a hand up in acknowledgement as well, so he's dodged a bullet there, Aloysius. Shout out to all the friends watching on Facebook. Do drop a comment in the section and we'll give you a mention. Zach Toot is with us, Michael Chua, April Yapp wishes Beth players the best of luck. Kelvin Kilbantan, great to have you with us, Kelvin. Aslam Saeed, who I believe is obviously related to one of our finalists tonight. Jason Colebrook is watching from Australia. I hope you're safe and well done under Jason. And Barry E, thank you for your kind words, Barry. Jonathan Kitchen is also with us. But well, this is a start that just goes to show how the pressure can affect both these players, as I get the feeling here Sharik is going for something spectacular to get off the mark in terms of a ball going down. Big shot this in the first rack. The number 4 seed trying to pull off something special for the first ball sunk in open play. Oh my word, he scratched again. Well, I think both of these players, David, are showing signs early. And when we were talking to the CEO and founder of One Play Sports, Mohel Alvani, we'll speak to the president of Cuesports Singapore, Christopher Chua, a little later. He'll be joining me on commentary for a couple of racks and presenting the prizes. But there's pressure here, isn't there? It's a marquee event. It's the first live sport they know. There's big numbers watching this around Singapore, Asia and the world. And it does get to players sometimes, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. I think both players are still settling down for the game tonight. It's a long way to go to race to 11 alternate break. And we have right now close to 200 people watching the semi-finals.
Yeah, great audience out there for these fantastic Cue Smiths. Obviously, the World Snooker Championship is ongoing in Sheffield for snooker fans, but I'd proudly claim this will be the second best Cuesports event taking place anywhere in the world right now, what with the COVID issues. So we're very proud at One Play Sports, as I'm sure David and the Cuesports Singapore team are, to be bringing it to you. First chance for Aloysius to go from 1 to gun here.
Looking at the shot, probably he's going to take the 3 into the corner pocket and the cue ball of 1 rail back to the center of the table to position for the next ball.
Will he have to make contact with the 9 here, or will be able to avoid that?
Definitely he's going to avoid that. He's just going to go past the 6 and towards the 4 ball.
Good shot and well called by David Ballard. Let's put that cue ball on a 6pence. And obviously 8 to 9 transitions, not going to be a walk in the park, but as you said, after that initial safety battle, and we see it so many times, don't we? A rack can be very tight through the first couple of shots, and as soon as one player blinks, it opens up with a gaping hole. Now what's he going to do from 7 to 8 here, because there's no shot directly on 7 to the top left-hand corner pocket. It's a bit of an ambitious combination to go for as well. How's he going to address the 7 off this 6, David?
Looking at it interestingly, I think he's probably going to go and play a draw onto the cue ball for the 6, and he's going to, I think, press on the shot a little bit, pot it thick, and just go right in between the cushion and the 7. That's my guess. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of open table here, but it's one of those shots, and we've seen it so many times this week, if a player starts getting in 2 minds and is solely focused on where the cue ball's going, this is the kind of pot that you can rattle the jaws and find it going wrong. Of course, race to 11, the longer format here, but it'll be good for Aloysius to win one against the head, so to speak, on the Sharik break early. But my oh my, he's got up from this shot 3 or 4 times, and sometimes that can be the death knell. But sometimes it's not. Look at that, gets up again. He's giving this a lot of thought, clearly worried about where the cue ball's going to end up here. This is a tester for position and pot. That's part 1 of it done. And my word, well, it was worth the wait, that one, wasn't it?
Amazing. There's a little bit of allowance there for him to hit the cushion. Once he gets the cue ball off the cushion, is right past the 7 ball. Once you contact on the 7, you are definitely on to taking the rack.
Well, he took his own sweet time over that 6, but it's a pot that looks very likely to have won Aloysius Yapp the first rack. Needs this one to run just a little bit further. Well, this is calm, controlled and well executed 9 ball in the opening rack from the number 1 seed, and this to go 1 up with still a potential 20 to go. First rack goes the way of Aloysius Yapp. Both men had their chances there, and ultimately Sharik will be disappointed, and he'll be now hoping he gets an opportunity off the Yapp break to come next. Give us an insight, David, and how difficult it is to beat Aloysius after I've mentioned our sponsors, which we must talk about. Eden Resources, who've kindly contributed to the 2,300 Singapore dollars prize fund. Our friends at Andy Billiard Cloth. The table's played so well today, and the cloth's a big part of that. Speed, durable and accurate. the cue shot. Dominic and Uncle Paul have been wonderful in helping us rig our wonderful set here that's been designed by technical director Sam Jeeva, and the whole production carried out with a very skeleton crew by our production manager Nitin Nambiar, with the support of Mr. Mohit Lalvani, the CEO and founder of One Play Sport, and in conjunction with Cuesports Singapore. But going back to that question just before I told everyone about our wonderful sponsors and partners in this project, how difficult is it to beat Aloysius? I mean, he's regarded by friend and foe alike in Singapore as the best player in the country, isn't he? Standout. There's not really a close battle in terms of who owns the #1 ranking, is there?
Exactly, because Aloysius have been practicing really hard, and he's putting a lot of hours into his practice. He's been practicing since afternoon all the way to the night time, so probably about 8 to 10 hours of practice a day. And in terms of competition exposure, I think he has got lots more exposure out there, and maybe we should just, you know, bring back the question later a little bit and just.
Is it true what they say, practice makes perfect? I think Aloysius Yapp is the walking testament to that. Good evening to Lim Hong watching. Like that shot from Aloysius, and Noma Bartolata Matero is with us as well. Are we going to see a push out here? He's got difficult bridging for the jumper if he wants to go for it himself. I think he's calling for an extension here, or will be shortly. What shot do you play here?
I think I'll probably play a safety instead of calling for a push out. I'll just play off the rail and hit the one, and then bring the cue ball to the end of the short rail, and hopefully the one comes down to the center of the table. So that might leave him a recovery shot, or either that, or it might just be a snook.
Well, again, the last time he took this long over a shot, it was an absolute beauty on the 6 to the 7 in the previous rack. Not enough distance, really, I fancy, between the 8 and the 1 to make the jumper a viable gamble at this stage, and the short stick has stayed by his seat, so I think David might be spot on. He was looking for that connection off the left-hand rail and to try and leave the one safe, but it's not straightforward. And I wonder, off the back of this, as he goes the opposite direction, will Sharik get his first opportunity? Push out it is. So he decided against that close quarters one cushion escape, and instead the push out. And now we'll find out whether Sharik wants to stick or twist here. Remember, from a push out he can put his opponent back in, and that's very quickly what he's chosen to do. And straight away Aloysius knew what he was going to do, as you often do when you play the push out. The short sticks out, and this would be some effort. Hard up against the rail on the right hand side, with 1, 2, 3 balls between the cue ball and the object ball, the 1. Technique to perfection on the jump shot. Digging down under the ball. Close, but no cigar, and he's going to need some luck here, and he may well have got it. Don't think that one goes past the 8 into the bottom right hand corner pocket. But does it go to the middle? Well, I think he might be very fortunate there, because you can see the 8 is hampering him with the pot to bottom right hand corner pocket, and there's another ball there that's hampering him to the left, that 4 ball.
Looking at the shot, probably I think Sharik will take the 1 ball into the center pocket and let the cue ball run 1 cushion and off the rail.
Is there a gap there? Does that 4
there's
not?
a gap there, and it's
Very close.
He's going for a safety.
Well, if he doesn't go for the pot, he should be able to leave Aloysius in a bit of bother here after this. He's going to try and camp up behind the 9.
Oh, no.
Just over on it slightly. So he's got, I think, full ball coverage, but the short sticks out again. And one thing's for sure, well, he's missed 2 jumpers on the spin, Aloysius. That consecutive run of missed jumpers can't last forever. Very tentative start from both men here in the final of the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball invitational matchup. Ice cool technique. The hand is steady, but the shot is wide. But again, they almost have the insurance policy. The players like yourself, David, and of course Sharik and Aloysius, so good with the cue ball. They always factor in the miss, as he did there, and has played a relatively impressive safety. Sharik's looking to see if he can cut it in, but that is a very tough shot if he decides to take that on.
Exactly. I think if Sharik is able to see the one ball, I think probably he will try to cut the one ball, as he is really into cutting thin cut shots. And but if he's not able to see the one ball, probably he's going to just go one rail off and split both the one and the cue ball.
Good evening to Matt Luther Cook, who's been with us all week. Great to have you with us, Matt. If you are watching for the first time and haven't commented on the Facebook comment section yet, do comment. We're all about like, share, follow, comment here on One Play Sports as we continue to connect communities and create heroes, which is a phrase David Banner likes a lot. Where's that one finishing up? Well, he knows there's a shot for Aloysius off the right-hand rail here. It's a delicate one, but one you'd think he'd execute. Sharik not happy, and that's why.
Exactly. I think this is one of the common shots in the game of pool, and I've seen Aloysius done it many times. So the chances of him getting this one to control the cue ball for the two is very high.
Well, of course, he doesn't, with the two being very close by, if he wants to play the two to the right middle after this, he doesn't even have to put much pace on this shot. It can be a very delicate glance. He's missed it, though. Wow.
That's really surprising.
It is surprising, isn't it? And I think nerves for both of them are a factor here. But one thing you have to say about Aloysius Yapp, I can't remember him missing a shot this week. I'm sure it happened maybe once or twice. I can't remember him missing a shot where he left the object ball on for the next player coming to the table. And that wasn't a million miles away, but not close enough, as we're entering a protracted second rack here.
Big shout out to all the players out there, Ben Huang, Marcus Ng, and we've got one interesting veteran player, Calvin Tan. He's used to be a 2005 challenge semi-finalist, and his break is really good for 9-ball.
Oh, fantastic.
And I learned it from him, actually.
He's your teacher. Is he like the Darth Vader to your Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, he's a little bit. No, he guided me, you know, and he even, you know, wrecked the 9-ball for me for at least about 30 minutes.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Just practicing, you know.
Fantastic.
It's good to have all these players up and joining us in this live stream tonight.
Yeah, we're building a great community here. Hello to Chua Yun Rong. I think he's giving a shout out to Lincoln on his comment. Keep the comments coming as Aloysius is back at the table and he can see some of this. This is a very delicate shot. Doesn't want the double kiss and avoids it, and now needs the one to run. He's absolutely judged that pace to perfection. But is he going to tempt Sharik to get the short stick out here and try and jump this into the middle? He's asking a question of the number 4 seed.
I think at this moment, looking at the shot, I wouldn't want to do a jump shot as the 7 and 1 is very close to each other. Probably Sharik might want to do a swerve past the 7 to pocket the 1 or off one rail.
Well, he's pointing to that left-hand rail just underneath the centre pocket, would suggest the wrong one rail shot is what he's going for. He's putting plenty of action on the cue ball here and calling for an extension. Shout out Huen Agnes. She's been with us all week as well. Great to have you with us, Huen. And I repeat myself here, but it's worth doing. Many thanks to Lily Liu and QH and sports associations like Cuesports Singapore. People like Lily and QH who've been marvellous in directing this tournament as tournament director and assistant director, respectively. Fine ambassadors of not just Cuesports in Singapore, but sports in general.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly. Right now, there's a training center located at Katong Shopping Center and we started that in 2018, December 2018, and we started renovating the place. And right now, it's been up for about close to 2 years, and we will share more information of the place in a bit.
Yeah, it's fantastic that Cuesports Singapore are making strides in Cuesports. And of course, the commitment to that sees Singapore currently 4th on the overall SEA Games medal table behind the Philippines, Thailand and Vietnam, the Philippines powerhouses. But it was great to see so many Singaporean athletes go to the Philippines at the end of last year and pick up some medals. Jessica Tanner, we saw in action, picked up a medal, and of course, as did Aloysius and Toe.
Exactly, they got about close to 8 medals, and these are the following medals that they have received so far. For 9-ball singles women, we have Jessica Tan, who got a bronze medal, and 9-ball doubles women, Suvin and Jessica Tan, bronze medal, and 9-ball singles men, Tolian Han and Aloysius Yapp, both individual as a bronze medal, and they beat Philippines in the quarterfinals to go to the semifinals. 9-ball men's double, Aloysius Yapp and Tolian Han got a silver for that. And
Sensational
for
stuff.
10-ball singles men, we have Aloysius Yapp getting the bronze, and exactly, we got two more medals that's coming up, which is the snooker. We have Kingsley Ang and Marvin Lim that got a bronze medal for snooker doubles, and our one and only favorite English billiards, Peter Gilchrist.
Yeah, one of the best of all time in billiards, Peter Gilchrist. While we were listening to the roll of honour for the Singapore athletes at the SEA Games, Aloysius Yapp has taken rank 2 by the scruff of the neck after that protracted safety exchange. Shout out to Caleb Emmanuel Ho is with us. And also, I've got to ask you, Hugh and Agnes claims that she's watching 2 live pool tournaments here at the same time. Hugh Wen, you better tell us that ours is the best. I hope so, Hugh Wen. Otherwise, you'll finish with me. Now, 5 left up, starting with the 4, then to 6, 7, 8 and 9. And Aloysius looks like he's in prime position. Hasn't got to do too much with the cue ball here. He's already missed a couple into that top right-hand corner pocket though, so I want to make sure that this drops. As it can affect players' confidence sometimes when pockets tend to go against them. Doesn't go against him this time, my word, that was dispatched with aplomb. And he's left himself a nice shot on the 7 with just a slight angle to be able to get back for the 8. Rob Turnstall is enjoying the safety play here. Shout out to Frederick Leo and Paul Pang. Paul Pang, of course, must mention Paul because I commentated on the Cuesports at the SEA Games and he was a massive help to me, updating me on all the news for the Team Singapore team. Uncle Paul, another great ambassador of Cuesports in Singapore. Paul Pang with his son Dominic, the masters behind the Q Shop brand. The master behind this final at the moment is Aloysius Yapp. He's racing here with a strong chance of going 2 up in the first 2 racks, which have taken about 20 minutes to complete. And the way he's potting these balls and these 2 clearances, there's nothing but net, is there? They're going straight in the middle of the pocket. He's playing with a lot of confidence here. As the 9 goes down, and it's 2-zip to Yapp.
Amazing play by Aloysius Yapp right here. Just to let you guys know that a bit of a background about Uncle Paul Pang. Paul Pang has been in the scene for the longest time, and he does deal with handling of the pool tables and fixing up the tables from scratch. And these tables are all fixed up by scratch from Uncle Paul and the Q Shop. And we are very, very thankful to have Uncle Paul joining us in this live stream. Just to let you guys know, I'm not going to reveal Uncle Paul's age, but he is really, he might be old in age, but is young in heart.
And I echo those sentiments, and I must say, Uncle Paul Pang, it was he who I contacted initially when we had the idea for this tournament to be the first live sport back in Singapore post-COVID, and he couldn't have been more positive, enthusiastic, put me in touch with President Chris Chua straight away. We had a meeting with Paul and Chris and Lily and QH, and we got this up and running in a matter of days. It's a credit to the sporting community in Singapore that Cuesports and 9-ball is the first sport back live post-COVID. So I echo those sentiments. Alan Gabriel says, shout out to the Pinoy Singapore Filipino pool enthusiasts. Don't mind doing that. Samara Abidi is with us, wishing Sharik Saeed all the best. Great to have everyone with us here as we get set for the 3rd rack, and Sharik Saeed could do with a break and run here to get his scoreboard going. It's the number 1 seed that leads 2-0. Look at the concentration etched on Sharik's face. Look at the power off that break as well. He's not going to be too happy with the cue ball. He has got a shot on the 1 though, but no, foul break called, and the night goes from bad to worse for Sharik. And again, those people new to Cuesports didn't get the 3 balls behind the required line there, did he? And that's why referee Stefano called the break back.
Not really, actually.
Apologies, nothing went down there. I thought it was because, I'm sure I saw a ball go down. I must apologise. It was because no ball went down. And the first time I can remember that happening this week. Yeah, count them up. There's 8 there. He failed to down one. And when things aren't going your way, that's the kind of bad rub you can get.
Oh, definitely. I've done it many times. Big shout out to Sharik Syed as well, even though the scoreline is 2-0 right now, but he has come a long way into the finals, beating Fraser by the score of 9-6 in the second session last night.
Yeah, that was some semi-final because he led 4-2, did Sharik. Then Fraser went on a great run to take a 6-4 lead, and we thought, didn't we, that Sharik might take a timeout, but he decided not to, played on, and that was a spot-on call as he won 5 racks on the spin to make it to the final. Aloysius rather more straightforward against Desmond Go, but that one was tight early, wasn't it? 3-3 at one stage before Aloysius put on the turbos, and having sunk the one, he's given Sharik a tester here, because in this shot, the 6 is a slight problem for him from the right-hand rail escape. Michael Chuap, one of the One Play Sports families, is already suggesting that Sharik might call a timeout if he loses this one. It's too early to call a timeout at 3 down in a race to 11, is it not?
Exactly. I think Sharik, for me personally, I do feel that Sharik should call a timeout, even though it's a race to 11. As
if he loses this rack, you'd call a timeout. If it was you and you lost the third, you'd call the timeout.
Yes, I definitely will call a timeout to break the opponent's momentum.
Well, that's what Michael suggested. He said change the energy, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because Sharik's not lost the third rack yet. He'll want this 2 ball to fall kindly for him, and look at that. He's left it hanging over the right centre pocket. And he just can't get a break at the moment. A dry break at the start of the third. And he's had chances. He's had table time, Sharik, but because Aloysius is such a strong player, he's just not been able to get any kind of run together.
Exactly.
I'm trying to cast my mind back to the previous 2 racks. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, that Sharik's potted a ball yet, apart from off the break in the first rack.
Yeah, exactly. I think at this moment there's a lot of chances given to Sharik, but Aloysius has been capitalizing on his mistakes, and I really feel that at this moment it's a make it or break it.
Well, I don't think we can write him off, even if he was to go 3-4 or even 5 down.
A big shout out to Silviana from Indonesia. She's Aloysius Yapp's girlfriend, and she's here watching and giving him a heart shape.
Oh,
that
wonderful.
back is going to push Aloysius Yapp to do even better in this next few racks.
She's put a big heart on the comment section. I wonder if she's got some plans for the 1,000 Singapore dollars that Aloysius would win if he goes on and wins a title tonight. Nahid Abidi's with us as well, asking Sharik to buck up his ideas. I think we're being a bit harsh on Sharik here. It's not as if he's wasted any opportunities. He's had a bad run of the balls, and he just hasn't been able to get any significant table time, because this man is showing at the moment why he is ranked number 1 in Singapore. As the 3 now goes down, needs this to run. It's okay for 4. And he should be okay to go in behind the 5 here. Doesn't need to put too much pace on this, nor do much with the cue ball. It's a natural angle to swing it round the 5. Aslam Saeed says Sharik will end up taking this rack. Well, if he's going to take the rack, he needs Aloysius to make a mistake, and they're a rare commodity. He's number 1 for a reason, travelled the world representing Singapore and has played the world's best in some of the biggest tournaments in the world. And other than the transition from 5 to 6, I can't see anything that's going to trip him up here, quite frankly. He's got lovely position on 7, 8 and 9. Possibly a little bit further adrift of this 6 than he would have liked. He's going to do something with the cue ball here, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's not going to play a smooth execution out for the 6 ball. He's going to just tap the 6 with a punch, and to get the white ball split open past the center pocket for the 7 ball.
He was fortunate that cue ball ran as far as it did, otherwise the 9 would have been a problem. But again, it's not by luck, it's by judgment that Aloysius Yapp makes these shots. And interesting to see if it does turn out that this third rack goes the way of Aloysius Yapp. That'll be 2 against the feed, if you like, against the head off the Sharik side break that he's won. And will Sharik maybe call a timeout earlier? Some of you on the comment section have suggested, and indeed David suggested might be the case. Aloysius Yapp for 3-0 and a big lead early in this race to 11. Down it goes, and referee Stefano calls the rack in favour of Yapp, and no timeout called by Sharik Saeed. I wonder if he'll wait for one more rack before he tries to...
Amazing shot by Aloysius, amazing clearance, and I would just like to comment a little bit on the 7 to the 8 that he played.
Please
it's
do.
Precise hit on the cue ball, and to execute that basic shot, I believe Aloysius took more than 1,000 shots to get that right in this match.
In practice, you mean, to get it right in the game?
Yeah, practice.
Well,
to
everyone
get it
we've
in this
spoken
match.
to, had Fraser on commentary, obviously Sharik was on commentary earlier, and yourself. They've all extolled the virtues of the hours that Aloysius puts in. And remember, he's still in his early 20s. You are watching live and exclusive coverage of the One Play Sports and Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational Matchup 2020. Remember, you can catch up with all the latest Cuesports news and all the sporting news around the region by giving us a like, share, following, comment. And if you're a speaker of Indonesian Bahasa, like Silviana is, of course. Silviana,
Exactly.
you can get Indonesian Bahasa commentary on the One Play Sports Facebook page in Indonesia. That's for all our Indonesian fans on One Play Sports.
Before Aloysius goes up into the 3rd frame, the 4th rack. Before Aloysius goes up in the 4th rack, maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about One Play Sports. What's this all about? Connecting communities and creating heroes.
I'd be happy to tell you, because we're witnessing it here in front of our eyes. We're connecting the Cuesports and sporting community with the first live sport post-COVID, and we are creating heroes, because although both these players are already heroes as SEA Games athletes, and Aloysius Yapp has a high profile, I'm assuring you Aloysius Yapp's going to have more fans, as is Sharik Saeed, off the back of this fantastic event this week. And let's hope we get to work with more NSAs to be innovative and help bring live sport back to Singapore. Well, off that break, it's not dry, 6 has gone. And what's coming out here? Well, he's gone for the long one, because he can see enough of this one to try and cut it in. As we look back at the break, see the 6 go. Plenty of action, the ball's spread eagled around the table. Love the camera work. Must also thank Imran and Morgan, our cameramen, who've been working in very restricted circumstances due to COVID. And they've done a marvellous job in bringing us these live pictures every night. Many thanks to you guys. Also Lim Yi, our match director, has done wonderful work. Sharul, who's working on the streams. Frank Lucas, working on the streams remotely, of course, to observe social distancing protocol. We've got Hilby working remotely on the replays. Again, so to observe social distancing measures. And also on the team remotely, we have the main man, Vic. So a great team here at One Play Sports, all working in different parts of the country to bring you this live coverage. Aslam Saeed is back on there asking for a break and run. And speaking of runs, I think Aloysius wanted that to run a little bit further than it did, and he's in a spot of bother now, David.
Yeah, I think Aloysius got too thick on the 1 ball that caused the white ball to run 1 row lesser for the 2 ball. And right now I think he's going for a 1 rail kick, either to pocket the ball or to split both the balls apart away from each other to give a tough shot for the opponent, Sharik Saeed.
Reminder, both players have a timeout of up to 7 minutes at their disposal if they want to try and buck their own spirits up or break the positive energy of their opponent as he gets full ball contact there. Now, surely he's not tying this to get behind the 9. That would have been sensational. He's got it safe enough. I suppose there's a banker open to Sharik, but it's fraught with danger. And, of course, he's going to be loath to take any big gambles now because he's wanting to try and win a rack by any means possible. He doesn't mind if it's scrappy. He just needs a rack on the board here.
Exactly. I think at this moment, Sharik just needs to focus on his game, and he will get back up into the game. And I think he's going to bring the 2 ball. He's going to play thin on the 2 and send the 2 balls to the second diamond and the white ball off 2 to 3 rails to snook behind the 5 and 7.
Well, let's have a look if David's called that spot on. It's an intricate shot here. Got to get the pace spot on and got to avoid any cannons or kisses back down the table. Oh, look at that. Looks good. Can he get in behind? He can. Well, that's a shot of the day so far.
Absolutely perfection by Sharik Shak side.
Don't think there's a 1 cushion escape on for Aloysius. And again, we talk about the practice Aloysius puts in to pull off some of those positional shots. Safety is such an important part of this game as well. And you won't see many better safety shots than that throughout the remainder of 2020 than the one just played by Sharik Saeed. Christopher, Sean Dryden thanking us for this stream. Christopher, you're more than welcome, buddy, and thanks for your comments. Please do, if you are watching, leave us a comment in the comment section, because the powers that be will be watching, and the more of you that respond enthusiastically as we see a great escape from Aloysius Yapp. If he avoids the scratch, it will be sensational. My word, that's a shot and a half. The more of you that react positively, the more chance that we have of bringing you top-class Cuesports in the future here live on One Play Sports. So do give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow, give us a comment on One Play Sports, and show the bosses at One Play just how much of a thriving Cuesports community there is, particularly when it's presented in the way we've gone with it this week. Paul Pang giving a shout out to his friends in Taiwan watching, and they're about to watch Sharik having played a beautiful safety shot. He's been snookered by one equally as good by Sharik, but can he see a gap through there? He can't. My word, this is a coast-to-coast jumper. This has got risk written all over it. Sharik Saeed trailing by 3, needs this to go right. Oh, that's a fire shot. Needs a bit of luck in the second phase, and a little bit of luck is just about what he gets. He's left a shot on the 2 for Aloysius, but my word, that was an ambitious and intricate shot he played there.
Exactly, but looking at the shot, I think it's a fantastic play by Sharik to split both the balls and to bring the cue ball down. He is just starting off and is launching out to fight it off against Aloysius.
Well, Aloysius with the tester. This is a trembler down the left-hand rail. No, he got up from that shot straight away, knew it wasn't right, and this is the chance that Sharik's been looking for. Not straightforward, but Sharik with an opportunity to finally get on the board. And there's plenty of fans on the Facebook page, Terry Duncan amongst them, who are willing him on to make this a close go. We've had a couple of matches that turned into real close affairs throughout the course of the competition, and more so than William Ang winning at the death against young Nicholas Tan, who couldn't get across the line. And of course it was quite close between Sharik and Fraser yesterday. Sharik triumphing 9-6, and we had Fraser getting the better of To Lian Han by 7 racks to 5. What a match that was. The number 2 seed, the elder statesman of Singapore Cuesports, biting the dust at the quarter-final stage against the odds. Well, he's landed tight to the right-hand rail here, Sharik, but he's still got a shot on the 3. But, of course, with that queuing, he's going to have to be careful of cue ball control, and he's going to ask for the extension. Our referee, Stefanung, all our referees have done great jobs this week. I'd like to thank the referees who've been absolutely first class. I'm sure you're familiar with all these referees who are a big part of the scene, our tournament officials going into this competition. Alex Lim, who we'll see later on, as one of the 3 referees that's allowed in the building here. We unfortunately couldn't let them all in because of COVID-19 social distancing, but we have got Alex Lim with us, we've got Stefan with us, of course, and Winston Tang is here. And thank you very much indeed as well to Shang Wei, Steve Chua and Giorgio Go, who've all been here this week helping officiating the matches. Sharik, nothing coming easy to him at the minute. This 3 is the tester. It's a test he passed, but the cue ball, has it been kind, or is the 5 blocking a path to the 4 in the middle, David?
I think it's slightly blocked by the 5 ball. And this shot, I believe Sharik is going to do a jump shot on the 4 ball to recover himself. And I think he got a little bit too thick on the 3 ball earlier. That cost him to be behind the 5.
Well, short stick again. He's going for this, and you feel it has to drop, otherwise he could be staring 4-zip in the face. Another big jump shot for Sharik Saeed. Played it well. Played it very well.
That's what Sharik is made up of, is he likes to come back from the back.
Shout out to Jim Baker, another man out there appreciating the stream. That's what we want to see. The bosses will pay heed to that, I'm sure. Let's hope we can get another Cuesports Singapore affiliated tournament up and running down the line. We'll be speaking to Chris Stewart on commentary later, and I know he's got grand plans to have some of these tournaments when COVID-19, please God it passes soon, is out the way. We can get the best international players over there playing in this kind of environment and arena. Be great to see. Be great to see Sharik get one on the board here. Another tricky shot though. After the jumper sunk the 4, he needs the bank shot for the 5. And down it goes, nothing but net, but nothing's coming easy in this one. He's got another tester because he ideally wants to hold in the top half of the table. If he can do that off this 7, he's got an easy knock in for the 8 onto 9, but it's an acute angle to try and hold the cue ball. Probably just be happy enough with it. Played it well. And he's held the cue ball marvellously also. And Sharik Saeed, barring any accidents here, is going to be off the mark in the 4th rack. He'll still trail by 3-1. But this will do his confidence the world of good now he's on the board.
Exactly. You know, what a combination of recovery on the 3 ball and a jump shot on the 4 and a bank shot on the 5.
Arguably the most
recover the
impressive
table.
clearance of the match so far. And it's come from the number 4 seed, who's about to be back in business here. Hold on to your hats, folks. We could be here for some time, and that's good news for everyone, because Sharik Saeed has reduced the arrears to 2. And what's more, it's Sharik with the break next.
You know, at this moment, knowing Sharik, I know that he's just telling himself to believe, you know, to keep believing and to just hold it on there and take one step at a time, to take one shot at a time to conquer the ranks.
Well, as we saw yesterday, he's not a man that's easily faced, Sharik. You alluded to it, that he's made lots of adjustments in his life off the table to help improve his game, and it's paid dividends this week. And he's fighting it out for that $1,000 share of the 2,300 Singapore dollar prize fund. Our quarters through Monday and Friday, and our pre-qualifiers were races to 7 last night, semi-finals races to 9, and tonight on the biggest stage of them all, the grand final of the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball invitational matchup. It's a race to 11. It's where the big boys play their 9-ball at One Play Sports. Ng Kok Chai liked those jump shots. So did Paul Pang. Michael Chua says it's electric. Shout out to Thaddeus Teo as well. Christopher making his comments. Thaddeus says, what a recovery that was from Sharik. Couldn't agree more. And Ben Young, thank you for your comments, Ben. And Terry Duncan, I think he sums it up best. That was a good out. Indeed it was. So, Sharik, first of the table up to bat in rack 5. And How good would it be for his confidence? He went on a 5-rack run to wrap up the semi-final yesterday. What he wouldn't give for that previous rack to be the first of 5 on the spin now. Needs a good break though. He's not had much luck with his break off so far.
Exactly, and I think there's a possible chance for him to come back in the scoreline of 3-2.
8 goes, but the 1 isn't kind to him. And there's a resigned sort of trudge back to his chair to change sticks that shows you it's not worked out in his favour. Interesting setup for the balls post the break. The 8 went down easily enough, but the 1, I'm not entirely sure, will go. He's having a look just to check it passes the 3. I'm pretty sure it passes the 3, but it's whether he can navigate past the 5. Well, he's looking at all kinds of angles here. Is he looking for a push out? I think he is.
Exactly, he's going for a push out. Big shout out to Nahid telling Sharik to keep it up. And all the way from US, we have Audrey Chua, who's been with us during the week.
Yeah, great to have Audrey with us.
We have Alan that's saying shout out to all Pinoy pool enthusiasts in Singapore. You know, we do have quite a number of Filipino pool players in Singapore, all over, you know, stretched out in the region of the different cities of Singapore, and they have been competing with the Singapore players in certain matches, and it's been a joy, you know, and fun having them with us.
Absolutely wonderful. I echo their sentiments. David? Well, Aloysius didn't like the push out, so he's given it back to Sharik. And of course, at this level, when a player pushes out, it's usually because he fancies the shot that he's about to be left by his opponent if he puts him back in. I tell you what, he's had the short stick out nearly more than the full length cue in this match, Sharik. He's had plenty of practice at these jumpers. Needs a good connection here. He's going for it. Oh my word. That's not gone according to plan. It could not have gone much worse. And he's invited Aloysius back to the table. Okay, there's still 8 balls up, but this is the kind of chance that Aloysius Yapp gobbles up for breakfast, and that push up, push out could come back to haunt Sharik here. He was so unfortunate. The kiss-in run from the 4 almost guided the cue ball to drop right by the 1 with a marvellous angle to come back down the table for the 2. Plenty of distance between cue ball and object ball here, though. He's got the natural angle, though, to swing round the 9 if he so wishes to get back up for the 3. That's looking very inviting, adjacent to the 4. So 3, 4 and 5, there's not much work to do. If he gets this position shot right, you have to say this is the key shot in the rack now for him.
Exactly, I think this is the key shots for Aloysius to get to 2 from 2 to 3.
Needs to pace this right, but he's left plenty of distance here. So again, not a gimme.
Simplicity at its best. That's how I would describe Aloysius' game.
I mean, sometimes you see 3, 4 and 5 next to each other there and you think, oh, that's an easy get, but occasionally they can be actually too close to each other because it's trying to control the cue ball when you're hitting the ball from a range at pace. But he's controlled that beautifully. And now, of course, with the cue ball's positioned, he could almost gradually, and each shot now, bring the cue ball from the top to the bottom of the table to land on the 9. Lovely cut there on the 4. Has he landed the wrong side of the 5 here? Or is he okay? I think he's okay.
I think this is a perfect angle to play for Aloysius, and I think he will run the cue ball 3 rail back to where he's pointing right now.
Well, a 3 rail run is what you're suggesting here. Remember, he's aiming for that green 6 next. It's 5, 6, 7, 9 to go to re-establish a 3-frame buffer. Well, let's count the rails off. 1, 2, 3. I'll tell you what, David Bally, you know your onions, don't you? You knew exactly what he was going for there, and he's landed it on a 6pence once more, and it's looking increasingly like Aloysius is back up by 3 as Sierra Lee Cody go Sharik Saeed. He's got a fan club, Sharik. He's a good-looking chap, isn't he? The ladies love Sharik Saeed, don't
Exactly. He's fit and buff, and he's really amazing man. I used to have lots of honey cheese with him at night.
they? Honey cheese.
Honey cheese.
You used to have lots of honey cheese. You used to have lots of honey cheese with
yes,
Sharik Saeed.
with lots of honey cheese.
What's
with
that?
him
Is that a
before he-
euphemism?
Again,
Is that actually a thing or is it a euphemism?
eat. It's a food.
Oh, it's a food. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was
it's a
getting
food.
my
So
mind was racing away there. Honey
Exactly.
cheese sounds quite nice, actually.
Probably.
Jacob Aguirre says, anyone know what type of balls they are shooting with? You can help with that, David.
I think they are shooting with the Duramif set that comes with 2 sets of 8 ball, 2 sets of 9 ball, and 2 sets of 10 ball,
There's your
and 2
answer.
sets of cue ball.
There's
It's
your answer
complete
as
set.
Aloysius wraps up yet another rack to go 4-1 up. They've played 5. And another example of giving Aloysius a sniff, and you will be sat on your backside for some time to come. It wasn't the hardest clearance he shot already tonight, and I'm sure he'll have harder ones to come, but he got the job done. And now, of course, Aloysius is up to break next. Just to remind you, by the way, you're hearing those charming little applause effects, which hopefully give a little bit more atmosphere in these unique COVID-19 times. I hope you enjoy the coverage and the added bit of atmos that gives you, but there are obviously no spectators in this building as we get the split screen of the 2 players. No question Aloysius will be the happier, and Sharik, well, he didn't panic when he trailed by 2 late in the match last night, and he's not panicking yet, but I do wonder whether he'll wait to 5-1 potentially if he was to lose this one and go for the timeout. Aslam Saeed getting behind. Is that Aslam? Is that Sharik's brother?
Aslam.
Aslam.
Aslam Said, I think he's a fan of fan of Sharik's though.
Okay. Alan Gabriel thanking Bala. You got lots of fans out there as well, buddy.
That's probably because I mentioned their names.
Quite right. I'm sure they like you for the person you are. What a great ambassador you are for the sport as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you back here in our next tournament. You obviously went out in the quarterfinals to Desmond Go by 7 racks to 2, playing some really attractive attacking 9 ball. Didn't get the run of the balls on the short format as Aloysius gets the all clear on the break, and he's got a shot on the 1.
It's like
And more importantly, he's got a shot on transition from 1 to 2. I don't think there'll be much of a hesitation taking this on.
it's like a duplicate break from the previous one that he did.
Yeah, very much so. Well, he's certainly getting the better of the break battle. Dominic Pan thinks it's a Hyperion ball set. He's referring that to you,
Oh, there we go.
Bala.
Let's go with
Well, Dominic will know,
Dominic
won't
Pan,
he?
because
Dominic
Dominic
will
Pan is
know.
one of the person dealing with the tables and the equipments of Cuesports, and he is from the Q shop.
Okay, thank you, Dominic. Our friends Dominic and Paul from the Q shop, father and son team. Well, the question now is off the break. Have we had a break and run? I don't think we've had a break and run tonight, have we yet?
Not yet.
This could be the first one. As the 2 goes down. Oh, he's left himself awkward bridging here for the 3. Not entirely sure that was the plan. Not insurmountable. Aaron Coe says these look like Cyclops Hyperion.
Oh, big shout out
Balls have
to
been
Aaron Cole
fantastic.
right there, because Aaron Cole used to be one of our top 4 players in Singapore, and right now he's into fishing.
Oh, come back to the 9 ball. We miss you, Aaron. As Aloysius, despite that awkward bridging, dispatches the 3 with the minimum of fuss.
That's an effortless 3 ball shot by Aloysius Yapp.
Well, 5 racks in, no one's break and run yet, and we've had a couple of breaks that have gone a little bit awry, but there's been nothing but aberration for Aloysius Yapp's play in this rack. And David, as you look at the table now, any potential pitfalls in the final 4 that need to fall for Aloysius Yapp to take a 5-1 lead?
Probably I would think not a single pitfall right there, because it's quite straightforward clearance. It's just going to take the 6 ball and the 8 ball in the corner pocket and 1 rail off for the 9.
Now, a lot of concerned fans and yourself were suggesting that Sharik might have looked at a timeout at 3-0, never mind 5-1. Do you think the timeout will come now? I mean, of course, he's not even past the halfway mark, Aloysius Yapp, of his target of 11, even if he wins this rack. But do you think Sharik will decide to just take a deep breath and compose himself with a 5 or 6 minute break? He's allowed a maximum of 7, remember?
Looking at it, I think probably Sharik might call for a timeout after this. If not, he's going to wait a little longer to get it there.
Of course, the key is he will be due to break next, and I wonder if that will influence his decision, because the next time he breaks, he really needs to be winning a rack. He obviously hasn't had the best of luck with the breaks. He had that dry break in rack 3. Aloysius Yapp, I mean, the cue ball control is just a joy to behold. And as you've already said, I mean, it's a little bit tighter to that rail, I'm sure, than he would have liked. But as you said, this just comes with hours and hours of practice. You have to have a bit of natural ability, but the natural ability counts for naught unless you put the hours in on the table.
Lots of practice from Aloysius Yapp to
And
get
in it
into
goes.
where he is right now.
5-1, Yapp leads Sharik, who sits motioned in his chair. Motionless he is, there's no timeout coming from him. I think, as he did last night when he trailed 6-4 in the semi-final against Fraser Doe, he's going to put faith in himself to try and start clawing this back off the break in the next, as we get our first break and run of the night, and it's gone the way of Aloysius Yapp. Aaron Coe says the reason he retired is because he can't beat Aloysius anymore. I don't think he's alone in that. If everyone took
Not
that,
really.
if everyone took that attitude, Aaron, I don't think there'd be anyone left playing. Who would Aloysius play if
Exactly,
everyone said?
Aaron Coe actually did beat Aloysius in our national 9-ball championship in the finals while Aaron Coe was working for Cuesports.
Wow.
And he decided to retire after that.
He went out on a winning note.
Yes, he went out on a winning note.
Oh, that's a great way to bow out, Aaron. You got my respect for that. It's not nice when you see athletes in any sport go on a little bit too long, become shadows of their former self. So Aaron went out on a big high, and hopefully going out on a high after this rack will be Sharik Saeed. He's just seen Aloysius break and run, and I think it would send a real message here, not just on the scoreboard, but in the psychology of, listen, pal, I can match you rack for rack here. If he could break and run and back it up. Myself and David Banner in the commentary box here in Singapore on our English language feed. If you're in Indonesia, you can catch Indonesian Bahasa commentary. We're very proud to be bringing you that. It's Tava Azhar in the Indonesian commentary box tonight, with a shout out to Jacob Mandalakang, who has been our other Indonesian commentator throughout the course of this week. A big rack coming up here. If Aloysius wins it, he's past the halfway mark in his quest to reach 11 first. If Sharik can win it, he can just, I think, start to focus on clawing himself back into this game. He's had no luck off the break so far, Sharik. Will things fall in his favour here? Doesn't want a repeat of the dry break in the third. And he will get action. And I think he's going to have a shot on the one as well. Yes, he will. Two's run into an awkward position on the left rail. But he's already produced a couple of good bankers today. So that, I'm assuming, is what he'll be looking for here. He's going to take some shot to get the cue ball in front of the two to get it to the rail. So it might be a banker off the back of this, but not brilliant. It's the best setup he's had off his own break so far today, though.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to a break and run from Sharik, even though he's down 5-1. It says a lot about being a fighter and being a hero. Is that what it's all about one sport, one play sport?
We're creating heroes, Banner, aren't we?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what we're all about. Connecting communities and creating heroes.
I love it.
Looking forward to welcoming Aloysius Yapp into the One Play Spectrum on Tuesday. We'll be recording an episode of our series Wall of Fame with Aloysius on Tuesday, so you can get to know more about Singapore's #1 pool player. If you give us a like, share, follow, comment, you'll know when that Wall of Fame interview with Aloysius will be broadcast. One goes down, slight kick on the cue ball in transition, and he was a little bit fortunate there, just rolled past the 8 ball. I think he intended to come a bit further than that. Does he go for the banker here? Because it's low risk in that if he misses it, the cue ball's going to be at the other end of the table. But similarly, next person that gets a clear shot at a ball here with the ability to run the cue ball, you fancy will clear up. So if he does decide to take this on, it's pretty much an all or nothing shot, and with the pressure he's under, trailing 5-1, you get the feeling it's got to go.
Exactly. There's no point playing safety on this shot, and as Aloysius is leading 5-1, and he's already very comfortable with the shot. And Sharik is actually pretty good on these shots. I've seen him done it countless times at our training academy.
Well, he's done it at the academy. Can he do it at the one-play Spectrum in a must-win rack for him, you fancy? Oh, my word, didn't bother with the banker. Snuck it along the rail, and that was a decent pot, and he's just run far enough for the 3. My word, he would have been winning that cue ball past the 8 then.
Oh man, it's unlucky shot right here, and he's looks like he's going for a jump shot. Is he going to do the same thing they did? He's going to jump pot this 4 and recover on the 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Well, he's had the short stick out half a dozen times. I think he's about 2 for 6 with the sand wedge so far in this game. Is it going to be 3 for 7 or 2 for 7? We're about to find out here, and you get the feeling this has to go with where the rest of the balls are positioned. If it misses, he's going to be in the lap of the gods on where it ends up. 1 foot on the floor, left hand perfectly still. Oh, not that close ultimately. He sent it down the table. He could do with the 8 helping him out here, but it's skimmed past the 8, and Aloysius Yapp is one good positional shot away here from taking the 7th out. And then surely they have to consider a timeout might be the time for Sharik to compose himself. It's bad enough when you are getting the ball run,
Exactly.
trying to beat Aloysius, but when things aren't quite going your way, as is the case with Sharik today, makes it just that little bit harder. And again, look, that ball could have easily have held up behind the 8. If it had kissed the 8, it would have stayed there, just brushed it, and has given Aloysius a shot. He's trying to get into the bottom of this cue ball. The cue ball could go dancing off the back of this. Look at that.
It's going for the combination of 5 to 9.
Well, again, this is the kind of shot you can take on when you've got a 4 rack buffer, and this would add insult to injury to Sharik Saeed. He knew where he wanted the cue ball. He's got his cue ball position. Now he's got to have faith in his angles and just make sure that distance between the 5 and 8 is well managed with the angle. He knew straight away that this was the shot he was going to play next. And you can see he's just making sure he gets a connection in the right position. And with these shots, you do put pace on them, don't you? Because you don't want to give your opponent an easy combination if you miss.
Exactly, but at this moment, I think the layout is quite open, and I think Aloysius is just focusing to just pop the 9 ball without putting any too much concern on the 5 or the cue ball.
Okay.
He's just going to go for the 100% attack.
So here it is. 5 to 9 for a 6-1 lead for Aloysius Yapp. That's a thing of beauty. Well, he's executed that to perfection. It's a 6 rack to 1 lead, and now the timeout does come from Sharik Saeed. So Sharik will try and gather his thoughts and turn the tide here. Aloysius Yapp is showing his class through the first, hour of this final. We've been on the table for just over an hour, and it's our first combination, 5 to 9 of the night, that sees Aloysius Yapp streaking away with this final. Right, we've got plenty more action to come. Don't go anywhere. Chris Chua, the president of the Cuesports Singapore, is going to be joining me on commentary next. We'll take a very short break with these important messages to thank our sponsors, and we'll be back with more live 9-ball action right here on One Play Sports.
start each day with high hopes. We meet people, sharing rides with them. People who build their lives around family, around their children's future. People who rely on others to give them a helping hand. And those who cherish quality time with loved ones. And like everyone else, we find comfort in people we trust. People who understand our needs and raise us above all expectations. People who share our dreams.
Welcome back live into the One Play Sports Spectrum. There's the trophy our two players are battling it out for. Aloysius Yapp with an electric start against a luckless Sharik Saeed, who's going to have to come from 6 racks to 1 down in a race to 11 if he wants to lift that trophy and take the 1,000 Singapore dollar first prize here at the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational Matchup 2020. David's popped off to get refreshed, and I'm delighted to say joining me in the commentary position is the president of Cuesports Singapore, Mr. Christopher Chua. And Chris, great to have you here. I know you're a very busy man and you've been following the action on the One Play Sports Facebook page, but you must be delighted to be here in person for the final.
Oh yes, thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you again to One Play Sports for organizing this wonderful invitational. And I'd like to also take the opportunity to thank all our sponsors, Eden Resources, Andy Billet Cloth, 42, Q Shop, for coming together to make this possible. And I think it's really amazing, given what we've just been through with COVID-19 and the circuit breaker measures.
Yeah, it's incredible. Obviously, there are a lot more important things than sport going on right now in the world, and our frontline services in Singapore have done an incredible job, and that was recognised rightly on National Day, but in a very small way. It's wonderful that the Cuesports Singapore community and One Play Sports have managed to say, right, let's try and take some positivity in what's ultimately a very negative world at the moment and work together to produce some COVID-safe live sport. And I know as a passionate Cuesport man, Chris, you're going to be delighted that it's Cuesports that are leading the way, because in the sort of rush for attention, if you like, in the sporting fraternity, sometimes Cuesports does get overlooked, does not look down on, but slightly overlooked with some of the more high-profile sports, the likes of swimming and whatnot. But this has really put Cuesports at the forefront of the sporting community in Singapore.
Yes, indeed. I just want to take the opportunity to tell our audience here that Cuesports actually is a mass sport. It's something that can be played recreationally by people of all ages, from the young to the very old, and you do not need very expensive equipment. And it's a very enjoyable game. It's very therapeutic, and I hope more people will, after watching this, take the opportunity to pick up their cues and start to hone their skills.
As we see the break-off in rack number 8, where Aloysius looked a little bit forlorn there, but he's got half a shot. And we'll follow this rack, obviously, but as we've got you here, Chris, that's a very good point you make, because this isn't a game that's played entirely in darkened bars now. I mean, all over the world. We've only got to look at the growth of snooker in China. It's, oh my word, better break off to bring you the first pot that I think Aloysius has missed all night, and it's going to leave Sharik with a chance in the 8th rack. But, this is a serious sport now, and I know you, under your tutelage, that
the Cuesports Singapore have been building centres, making more tables available for youngsters of all ages. I mean, as you say, it's a universal sport. Families can play it together, can't they?
Yes, indeed. We are also very grateful, to Sport SG for coming together and supporting us all the way. All this would not have been possible without their help, in coming up with the Cuesports Academy, which now serves as an excellent venue where our players as well as our members can train and practice it.
And obviously, do you give back to Sports Singapore as well? Obviously, Tolian Han has been a regular at the SEA Games over the last, nearly 15 years. Obviously, the man we're looking at there, Aloysius Yapp, is at the forefront of, never mind Singapore or Asian pool, he's a name now in world 9-ball pool. You deliver medals at the SEA Games on a regular basis. You did so again in Clark at the end of last year. So you feel you're part of the bargain, don't you? You deliver results now. This isn't just a bottomless pit of money that's being thrown in at people to have fun. It's a serious business.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if I may put it this way, on the business end, we also deliver the goods when it counts. And yes, indeed, if you examine our performance in the last few SEA Games, I think we've been growing from strength to strength, both in terms of depth as well as breadth across all the various disciplines.
Yeah, gave the Filipinos plenty to think about on home turf, which is no mean feat in Clark in December. We'll talk more in a minute about that, but let's get back to this rack. Your chance to give us a bit of your commentary expertise, Chris, because I know you're a passionate Cuesports man. Well, Sharik's been desperate for this, hasn't he? An opportunity on the Aloysius Yapp break, and he's got it with Aloysius during that one ball. And now he's just got to try and navigate something on the 3. I mean, again, he's just been unfortunate with his ball run, hasn't he, Sharik? I mean, obviously, Aloysius, even if you get everything going your way, is a tough man to beat. But Sharik just needs, and maybe that timeout was the sort of change of fortune he needed almost, because that's the other great thing about Cuesports. The ball run is a factor. I mean,
yes, it is.
Won't win you a match, but you need a bit of luck,
of course,
at certain times.
Very much so. And when it comes to 9-ball, as you pointed out previously, it's the 9-ball that counts.
You can pot 1 to 8, it matters not.
That's right.
If
and
the 9 stays up.
Leave a sitter as far as the 9-ball is concerned, you've just given the frame away.
Well, I have to tell you, we're a passionate Cuesports community here at One Play Sports. We have a recreational table in our offices, and 10-ball has been our game du jour, if you like, in recent years. But now, of course, we're all 9-ball addicts, and if I had any hair, I'd have torn it all out over the course of the last couple of weeks. And speaking of tearing hair out, well, I think he's dodged half a bullet there, Sharik. He's not left. Well, again, I mean, the trouble is, any table set up when Aloysius comes in, you just need things to go your way. As you have a look there, he didn't get the coverage I think he was perhaps looking for on the 8.
That's right.
So he has left Aloysius a shot here. I'm not sure if you can see enough of it though, Chris.
Yeah, from what I can see here on the screen.
Yeah, it's difficult from this angle. I must also point out, because of the COVID-safe measures, this tournament being conducted under strict COVID protocols, we aren't actually in the arena. We're commentating off a monitor some distance away from the table, so we're seeing the same pictures as you are, but it's always a good indication how long the player is taking when he mulls over a shot, and the fact that Aloysius is taking so long would suggest this is far from straightforward. Very quickly, while Aloysius takes his time here, have you been into Cuesports all your life? Were you a late arriver on the Cuesports scene?
No, I've been in Cuesports for a good part of the last 30 years, in fact.
Snooker your game, or
student days in the UK?
Snooker your game or pool?
Snooker is I started off with snooker, and of course, eventually, as I got on, I also picked up pool as well.
Yeah, of course, snooker, the World Championships, the final being played, I think. Yes, as we speak.
Right.
Ronnie O'Sullivan and Kyron Wilson, after the most incredible day snooker in their semi-finals. You've never seen anything like it. If you're a fan of Cuesports, I advise you, go on YouTube and watch the final frame of Anthony McGill and Kyron Wilson's semi-final. And I tell you something, go on YouTube later on and watch that shot that Aloysius Yapp has just played.
Yes.
My word.
Yes, he's played a very safe shot. Yeah,
he can put balls on a sixpence, can't he? Doesn't matter where the cue ball and the object ball are.
No, it's as if he's put it there with his own hands.
Yeah, I tell you what, never mind if he can't make a living out of 9-ball pool, we want to take him to Vegas as a magic act, because some things he does.
Indeed.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, incredible shot.
And of course,
well played.
It's a big problem for Sharik.
And it's a big problem, and it's also how to get it safe.
Yeah, getting out of it's one thing. He's trying to not use the extension now, isn't he? It's rushing around the table, and that's going to add extra pressure to this shot. This needs to be spot on.
Well,
is he going to be helped here? He needs it to run. It's not quite run far enough.
But it shouldn't be too difficult. I think he might be able to make a fine cut.
Well, the body language from Sharik, who's an incredibly confident young man. He's done Cuesports Singapore proud on commentary, never mind on the table this week. I think speaking to David, he's made several lifestyle adjustments that have clearly, he's looking great and he's feeling great. And
yes, Sharik is very passionate about the sport, and he's made many commitments and sacrifices to get to where he is now.
One factor of Aloysius Yapp's play, the only shot he's played today where he's left the ball up and a tap-in, if you like, was that one ball in this rack. Right. Every time he misses when there's pace on the cue ball, you just know he's not going to leave it on. He's going to leave it safe, and it's just it's like an autopilot. Sometimes he's got cue ball and object ball on a string. Well, Sharik, he's rushing now, isn't he? Seems to be picking up the pace of his play. It's been a game played out at a relatively slow pace. It took, just over an hour for the first 7 racks. But he needs to put a run together. He won 5 racks on the spin to take out the semi-final against Fraser Liu yesterday from 6-4 down. What he wouldn't give to win 5 racks on the spin here to level this up at 6-all. And that's a banker.
Oh, dear.
Oh, he was crying it on to flick on the 7. If it flicks on the 7, that's a very different shot. But as it is now, he's staring 7-1 down the barrel.
Yeah.
Speaking to Aloysius through this week, I mean, obviously he is your golden boy. He is a superstar, if you like, of Singapore Cuesports. He's so timid, isn't he, in some ways? I mean, on the table he's an absolute lion, but when you speak to him, he's shy, retiring.
Yes. Very affable, pleasant chap. Very serious and committed, to the game. Practices very diligently every day.
We're looking forward to welcoming him back to the One Play Studios on Tuesday. He's going to join our Wall of Fame, our series with top athletes. We've been privileged to have PV Sindhu, the Indian superstar in badminton, on that show. We've had Shaun Murphy just before the World Championships. He came on, and next up, after Sajjan Prakash, the Indian Olympic swimmer, will be Aloysius. He'll be coming in to record that on Tuesday, so make sure you like, share, follow, comment on One Play to find out when that interview will be aired. And at the moment, it looks like we'll be interviewing the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational matchup champion for 2020, because he's on the brink here of 7-1, and with Sharik now with no timeout to call upon, he's just got to summon something from somewhere to try and make this competitive, because no disrespect to Sharik, he's not had any luck, but Aloysius has just been lethal. I think he's made one mistake through 8 racks, and that was that one he missed at the start of this rack, and he still ended up taking it out.
And you really have to capitalize on any mistakes that he makes.
He's trying to go coast to coast here, 2 cushions. He's a little bit further away from this 9. No real damage, but he's slightly further away than he would have liked.
Aloysius.
But again, very rarely looks flustered. I mean, he'll occasionally shake his head if he's not happy with a shot, but he doesn't get flustered. And of course, he's so good. It's his opponents that tend to be the ones that start skulking and looking down at the ground. And he nonchalantly knocks the 9-ball in for a 7 rack to 1 lead. 4 away. Going to stay with me for one more rack, if you don't mind, Chris, because I was just going to ask you. It's always actually interested me. This is kind of a personal interest of mine. Singapore obviously has one of the world's greatest ever Cuesport players as a Singaporean and as a flag bearer for Cuesports in Peter Gilchrist. Talk us through that. I'm genuinely interested in this. How did that come about that Peter Gilchrist sort of became Singaporean?
Well, initially he came here as a coach, and then eventually became a player. And he's been with us since then.
So Cuesports employed him to coach all Cuesports?
Right. Correct.
And obviously he came here like many people, like I did. You come here, you fall in love with Singapore, and you think, this is where my future is.
Made friends, and decided then to make Singapore his home.
Again, he's returned that faith in Singapore with, I've lost count of how many gold medals and world championships he's won.
Singapore, I mean, he's our flag bearer, and he has been winning successive goals at the SEA Games, and he has delivered goals at the international level.
Is he currently world? I mean, he seems to win the world championship every year.
Yes.
He's currently world champ. I mean, again, as we...
I would need to check the
Yeah,
statistics
I think he is.
again.
David is with us back in the commentary box. He'll be rejoining me at the start of the ninth rack. But yeah, I think would he be Singapore's only world champion in sport?
Yes,
Must
he
be
is.
right.
Yes,
That's some
he is,
achievement.
undoubtedly.
Yeah, and
He's Peter has clearly put Singapore on the map, on the global
Cuesports.
map, without a doubt.
we need to give Ronnie O'Sullivan a
For
call. See if
Cuesports.
he fancies a Singaporean passport.
He'll be the equivalent of Ronnie O'Sullivan
Yeah,
for billiards.
he very much is. Of course, billiards, unfortunately, is one of those sports, one of those few sports that never really is caught on television for reasons which you can understand. So it doesn't get the same profile. But it's the oldest of all cue
Exactly,
sports.
exactly, and a lot of skill is involved with that for those who play the sport. Yeah, a lot of skill.
So,
in understanding how the ball runs, how to use spin and side.
You need a maths degree, I think, to work out the scoring as
and
well.
the right strength, it's amazing.
Aloysius Yapp 7-1 up here, and Sharik with the break-off in rack number 9. And again, well, this is an improvement for him. He's had a bit of luck. He's got a shot on the 1 in this. And obviously, I mean, we've had some cracking matches. We've had some one-sided games, as you get in all tournaments, and this is, at the moment, not looking like a close contest, but still a fine display of 9-ball. And I know, Chris, this is a very exploratory operation, what you've done here with One Play Sports and getting this tournament off the ground. But regardless of One Play Sports involvement, I know your passion is Cuesports, and your ambition would be, post-COVID, to try and do more of these across various genres of Cuesports, bringing international players over and trying to put Singapore on the map as a global stop in Cuesports.
Yeah, in fact, this is exactly what we have been doing prior to COVID. We have been organizing regional events like the Lions Cup, the Singapore Open for snooker, getting regional players to come in and play. The idea here is to make Singapore a regional venue, and hopefully once the COVID-19 measures are off and travel restrictions are eased, we can go back to that again.
Yeah, because the World Snooker Tour obviously has some of their most, nearly all of their most valuable events, bar the World Championships, as we see that one, oh my word, missed in 2 pockets there.
That's right.
From Sharik. He's been a bit fortunate where it ended up.
Yeah.
But you're going back to the World Snooker Tour has lots of events in China. I've been fortunate enough to cover the Indian Open for the last couple of years. Singapore did host the World Female Championships.
Yes, we did. We hosted the World's Women's Snooker Championship, and that's quite unique because it was the first time, I believe, in 20 years that they held it outside English soil. And then Singapore was the first foreign country to host it, and then later on, subsequently, Thailand.
At Marina Bay Sands, was that?
No, it wasn't Marina Bay Sands.
Apologies.
It was at the Lagoon Billiards Room at Tua Payoh, Safra.
Apologies. I think I spoke to Jason Ferguson. He mentioned Marina Bay Sands, maybe because that's the thing nowadays. I mean, what did when people thought of Singapore in years gone by when they visited? Now, of course, Marina Bay Sands is almost like the iconic architectural image of Singapore. I suppose before that it was Raffles Hotel and the Merlion and but yeah, Marina Bay Sands now. But when they say they go to Singapore, they say, yeah, I went to Marina Bay. That even happened there. Let's pick up this 9th rack with Aloysius unfortunately being left back in. And the trouble is, every time, it's almost like the ultimate challenge, isn't it? And goodness knows how poor Sharik feels. Every time he comes to the table, Aloysius, even if things don't look straightforward, you're almost desperately trying to find a way of where it can break down with his game. And it's very, very hard. Obviously, the 8 and 9 are far apart, and the 8's tied to the top rail, which is going to make it tough. But as long as he gets that one positional shot spot on, Sharik may be resigned here to 8-1. To deft touch.
Nice touch.
I'm sure you'll join me, Chris, while you're here as well. I'm just caught a glimpse of Stefan there. All the referees have done an incredible job. Obviously, we'll be recognising Alex, Winston and Stefan later on here. But to give a mention to all of them, because I know you'll be appreciative of all your committee members and all those that help out behind the scenes. Zhang Wei, Steve Chua, Giorgio Go as well. And I must mention, I mean, I've been fortunate to work in sporting events all over the world, from Olympic Games to World Cups, but Lily Liu and QH have been brilliant in the way they've organised this. I mean, they're the lifeblood of Cuesports in Singapore, aren't they?
Yeah, we are really privileged and honoured to be able to work and have such good staff with us.
So that positional shot that I thought might catch him out, more in hope than expectation, of course did not. And Aloysius Yapp
capitalises once more, and this is now
Makes it
8-1. Listen, Chris, I know you're hanging around to present the prizes. I look forward to seeing you out there in the
look forward to seeing you
Spectrum, masked up
Catch
later.
with you. Thank you again for having me in the commentary box.
Pleasure. That's the president of Cuesports Singapore, Christopher Chur. We'll be seeing him later on the stage for the prize presentation ceremony, which, the way things are going, might not be too far away. We're 25 to 11 local time. We're in the evening, Singapore, GMT +8. And David Balla is now alongside me. Well, while we've been chatting to Chris, David, plenty of people checking in on the Facebook comment section again. Hugh and Agnes is getting involved in conversations. Aslan's still there. Aaron 1 says hello to everyone. Great to have you with us, Aaron. And David Bally, you've even got stuck in on the Facebook comment section. Yeah, Jason Colbrook, many thanks to you, Jason. I thought he was. Peter Gilchrist is the reigning world champion, won it in Melbourne in October 2019. Singapore's only world champion, let's not forget. Lynn Hasney is here. Maximilian Raider. Josiah Yo, who's been with us all week on the Facebook comment section. Great to have you all with us, guys, and you're watching a masterclass from Aloysius Yapp. Now, what were you doing while Chris tagged you out, if you like, to take a quick comfort break and grab a drink? Were you speaking to anyone out there? What's the general consensus out there about how the match is going? Are people, I mean, obviously people are disappointed. It's not as competitive as we'd have hoped, but people are blown away by Aloysius' play here, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think we expected a really, really close match, and we're really looking forward to Sharik buckling his belt up and giving a good fight to Aloysius. It's not over till Aloysius reaches 11.
I thought you were going to say the fat lady sings there, but there's no fat ladies here, so in that case it'd never end. Aloysius Yapp on serve here with a break of 7 racks to Sharik. He's 3 away from lifting that trophy here live on One Play Sports tonight. Darwin Bernadette says hello to everyone from the Philippines. Darwin, great to have you here with us, buddy. Keep the comments coming on Facebook as Aloysius is at the table with plenty of cue power to burn. The break is safe and the one is on, and by and large tonight, when the one's been on, although he did miss the one to this pocket from a very similar angle in the penultimate frame.
It was so good to have Chris Chua joining us for this streaming, and even in the commentary box. And it's been lovely with him running the academy at Katong Shopping Centre together with Lily and QH, and it's been a privilege. They have been doing lots of programs such as Fun and Q Touch, especially for students, and we had close to about 200 students, including secondary school students and JC students, joining us for the event. It's basically an event to explain to them that this sport is a sport that you can pick up and to really grow and really build up your character as you go along. And there were a lot of fundamental teachings, and we even had game prizes given out at the end of the session.
Yeah, brilliant. As Chris mentioned, and as you've emphasised there, it's fun for all young and old. So if you are looking at this for the first time and thinking, oh, my youngster would like to play Cuesports, because that's what happened to Aloysius Yapp. He chanced upon it when he was young, decided he liked it, and he's committed his life to it. He's become a world star on the Cuesports stage. You get in touch with the Cuesports Singapore people, get the youngsters down to that, and please don't start thinking of this stereotype of dingy bars and darker rooms and tables. It's a professional setup at the Cuesports Academy. Now, I mean, the trouble is we try to start conversations about other things, and you turn your attention away from the table for a split second, and already Aloysius Yapp is halfway through winning yet another rack. It's happened again. And if you're Sharik, I mean, what do you Bob, you've been in this position, I'm sure, David. I mean, you were nearly in this position against Des Go earlier in the week. What do you do if you're sat there and you're thinking this match is already gone? Is it hard to motivate yourself to keep getting up, or are you just playing for pride at this stage? Do you think Sharik thinks he can still win this?
It's definitely hard to get up, but what keeps a player going, what keeps an athlete going, is they keep fighting till the end, till they drop. Even if they drop, they still crawl to the finish line. And I believe Sharik will buckle up and come back onto the table, as it's still an alternate break.
Well, he's about to go 9-1 up. He leads by 8, needs 2 more out of the next 11 racks, and Sharik Saeed has a mountain to climb as the number 1 seed. Aloysius Yapp leads Sharik by 9 racks to 1 with yet another
masterclass. And this time, Sharik didn't get a look in. It was the old break and run from the number one.
All right, down here, before we go on to the 11th rack for the day, I would like to, just shout out to all the players out there. Any player that's watching that is from the age of 1, or probably maybe even 8.
Yeah, I think 1's a bit of a stretch, David,
yeah,
maybe 8.
1 is not a good ideal age to start pool, but maybe at the age of 8 or 9, you can consider joining us at the Katong Shopping Center, at our Cuesports Training Academy, as we have different squads, pool squads in Katong Shopping Center. Currently, we have 4 different types, and we have National Pool and Snooker Squad, and we have National Youth Pool and Snooker Squad, and we have National Development Pool and Snooker, and National Women's Squad. So this sport is open to all gender, male and female, to pick up.
Lovely stuff, David. You made me think, I wish I was Singaporean to play that. I'll tell you what, speaking of ideas, Darwin Bernades has come up with a great idea. Why don't we set up a Moscone-style event, Singapore against the Philippines? The Moscone Cup is a 9-ball event that pits the United States against Europe. That's a great idea, Darwin. I'm going to suggest that and borrow that idea from you, if I may.
Darwin is a very good friend of ours, and
yeah, it's a great idea.
So we really can connect with him and come up with something else down here. Yes, Darwin, good shout out to you right there for watching us.
Now, look at this. It's gone. Oh, can he just get through to that one? I don't think he can. Maybe off the rail he can. Once more, he manages to lose 2 balls on the break for plenty of action. Both the 1 and the 4, though, blocking each other. He's got a shot here. Can he reach his directly, or does he have to go off the rail?
Probably he has to, based on the shot right here, I think he has to. He's still able to play the 1 directly instead of playing off the cushion, and I think he's going to go for a simple play right here.
Well, a bit of swerve, and he managed to reach it directly, but where's the cue ball going? Where's the cue ball going? Oh, a little bit close for comfort in that left middle. Obviously, the 2's bit the dust, so it's 3 next, and this is a real trembler, isn't it? With the cue ball hard up against the cushion. It's awkward bridging, it's awkward cueing. It limits what he can do with the cue ball here. Remember, the transition is to that 3 in the right-hand side of your screen to the 4 in the top left-hand side. So he has got a natural angle if he can get on top of this cue ball. But this is not a gimme, it's a tester.
Great shout out to Nicholas Tan, who's with us on the live stream.
Yeah,
and
well done, Nicholas. We saw you on Monday
on.
against William Ang. Should have won, Nicholas. Maybe next time. Andrei Dmitriev says, world-class player and world-class coverage. Yes, Andrei, they both are, to be fair to them. Obviously, we're not seeing Sharik in his best light because Aloysius is playing so well. But we will be trying to bring more of this coverage to you, Andrei. And many thanks for your kind words. Yeah, Nicholas Tan getting behind Sharik. I mean, one of the other great things about this, obviously they're rivals on the table tonight, but great friends off it, Aloysius and Sharik. It was a good shot on the 2 ball from Sharik. Is this his turn to break and run? Would be his first break and run of the night. Down goes the 4. Happy enough with his position on the 6. Well, he won't get a better chance to break and run than this tonight. Good play. Yeah, Darwin, keep thinking about that idea, buddy. We'll wait for COVID to pass, and I'll be suggesting that to our bosses, and I'm sure Chris Stewart and the Cuesports Singapore team will be behind it as well. That's a nice, steady shot from Sharik. Trouble is, when you've only 1 run rack out of 10, you really just, every shot becomes so pressurised. I mean, unless Sharik has just decided, well, it's going to be difficult for me to win this, I'm just going to enjoy my 9 ball from here on in. Good stuff. Sharik Saeed breaks and runs. If he gets this 8 and 9, and he'll reduce the deficit to 7. And all he can do now is self-contain every frame from here on in, can't he? Just think, well, this frame's a game in itself, take it, and almost ignore the scoreboard when you're 9-2 down. That's assuming.
Look at the composure from Sharik, and it's been a great encouragement to see him fighting, even though there's a little bit of a punch, a tension in his wrist, but he still managed to pull out the 8-ball. Great player.
Nine goes down. Sharik Saeed breaks and runs for the first time tonight. He's reduced the arrears to 7. He now trails Aloysius Yapp by 9-2. It will, though, be Aloysius Yapp with ball in hand to break next. And it's a good rack for Sharik, and it just goes to show if he can get time at the table, he can produce the goods. But Aloysius Yapp is just such a good player at keeping you off the table, isn't he?
Exactly. As right now, it's an alternate break, and the next breaker is Aloysius Yapp, and Sharik has to really hope for the best that Aloysius doesn't get the break. We wish both the players the very best, and it's been a pleasure doing the commentating for both of them.
Yeah, pleasure to have you here as well, David. Great job and a great ambassador for Cuesports. Well, Aslam Saeed, who's obviously on Sharik's side, says another break and run here, just watch. I don't think you mean this rack, Aslam. I think you mean the one after this, because if it's a break and run by the man at the table now, Sharik will be 8 behind again, with Aloysius only needing 1. Now, let's see what the cue ball's like off the break. He's been very good off the break so far, Aloysius, and things have tended to fall in his favour. Will that be the case again here as he edges towards the running line, and a chance to lift that trophy just 2 racks away for the number 1 seed and the Singapore number 1. Oh, the 1 is going to land up in no man's land, really. Managed to lose 3 off the table on the break. And the 4 and the 8 are tied up together. Plenty of action. But he would have liked the 1 to be out in the open. The bank's a shot, though, if he fancies taking it on. Or will he play safe here? We're about to find out. Safety it is, because he's got that big barrier of the 4 and the 8 to try and hide it behind, but not sure whether he can get through there. I don't think the pot's on, but can he find a path in that gap between the 5 alongside the 4 and the 8?
It's a very low chance to hitting the 8, as both 4 is on the left side and the 5 is on the right side. Probably Sharik Saeed has to play 2 cushion to play a safe on the 1.
So, another tester for Sharik, and he's thinking about it. The extension is used, and that puts him under pressure, of course, for the rest of the rack with the extension used very early. But again, in his position now, it's almost last chance saloon.
Looking at the comments section, I think Aslam Said mentioned that he'll be meeting us here at the Kallang Theatre. Wow, I think it's actually the dad of Sharik.
Oh, it's Aslam's father. We'll look forward to that, Aslam. Many thanks indeed. Meanwhile, Saeed Jr. is taking his own sweet time on this shot. Needs to get this spot on. He's somehow got to find the white safe, or at worst, get a lot of distance between the 1 and the cue ball off the back of this shot, which is ambitious. He gets the contact. He needs some luck here. He needs some help, I think, from the 9 ball. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? I think he has. And the short stick might come out here, but he's taken 2 to the party when he comes to the table, Aloysius. But again, with a buffer of 7 rack lead, I do fancy the short stick will be going in that hand as he calls for the extension. This is a makeable jump shot, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, it's a makeable jump.
Particularly when you've got a 7-rack lead and there's not that much pressure on you.
Exactly. I still remember Aloysius played in the Malaysia tournament. It's called the Golden Break 9-ball tour, and he played against Kerping in the finals, and the scoreline was 10-10, and he made a push out, and Kerping gave the shot back to him, and he jump pot the one, and that made him win the tournament of $10,000 prize money.
My oh my. Only 1,000 Singapore dollars for the winner here, but it's still significant bearing in mind these COVID times. And Aloysius, both players have used their extension in this rack. The short stick's gone back in its pocket. And now he's opting. Is he going to try and pot this off the rail? What's the shot here? He's going to have to get plenty of action on the cue ball if that's his intention, or is he just going to try and play it safe? Well, goes for the safety. He did not want that kiss on the 2, that's for certain. And one of the few times tonight we've seen Aloysius shake his head. He overthought that for me. With a 7-rack lead, surely you would have considered that jumper. But it would have been a great shot, but for that kiss on the 2. And he could find himself in trouble next. Sharik may even try and cut this and bring the cue ball up for what would be an easy knock-in for the 2 in the middle. Is this match on the precipice of a turning tide? Oh, hello. Just maybe, you know, that the cue ball is a little bit further away from the 2 than he would have liked. He can probably cut this 2 into the right middle pocket, but it's a worry where the cue ball will go next. The 9's a barrier if he tries to use the 2 rails to get back up for the 3. It's a good shot though, but just maybe a little bit unfortunate with the cue ball.
Looking at this shot, probably he's gonna try for the 2 into the center pocket and run the cue ball.
Just got to be mindful of the 9 here that's in play as he tries to transition to 3. If he decides to come up and down, that is. And that's what he's trying to do. He avoided the 9 well. How's his luck? Well, you have to say that is a world-class shot from Sharik Saeed. That is a world-class shot. To swing that ball around the table with obstacles galore and manage to get by. Top draw. And look at this, he's already...
What a shot by Sharik. Total clarity in the mind to take this 2 ball to position for the 3.
And it was avoiding the 9 that was the beautiful part of it. Some shot, one of the shots of the championship so far at this one-play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational. And it's Aloysius Yapp's turn to be warming his backside on those magnificent green chairs provided by our friends at 42. Stun shot on the 3. Easy as you like. And for the first time tonight, Sharik, I think, could be about to take 2 racks on the spin. What he wouldn't give to find the run of form that helped him go from 6-4 down to beat Fraser Liao 9-6 last night. He's going to need that kind of run now to get anything like competitive in this. Opting against the pot there. Well, the position he was faced with there, I'm surprised he wasn't a little bit more aggressive. He's given Aloysius a chance to get back to the table. Was that be the shot you'd have played?
I think he couldn't pot the 4 ball into the corner pocket, so that was actually a very great great cue ball control by Sharik to just bring the cue ball slightly in front of the 8 ball, just in case the 4 comes out, so that Aloysius has to play a kick shot. Oh man!
When you're good, you're good, and when you're lucky, you're lucky. You can see the fact the hand went out there. It wasn't intended, but that's what I'm talking about. For me, I think Sharik had enough cue ball to work with there to leave himself an option on the 4, because as soon as you invite Aloysius Yapp back to the table, if it's a shot he can make, he makes it, and when things are going his way, they're going his way tonight. Even the luck at crucial moments is going on his side. Don't forget to drop us a comment in the Facebook comment section if you're with us on One Play Sports. You can like, share, follow and comment to find out all the latest Q Sports news and news of our next live events to do with Q Sports and One Play Sports. And a reminder, as we see a glorious shot from Aloysius once more, that we are inviting Aloysius Yapp into the One Play Sports studios on Tuesday to join our Wall of Fame. It'll be an in-depth interview with the Singapore #1 9-ball player, and you can get to know more about the man who's performed so majestically at this tournament over the course of the last 7 days. Well, Sharik had his chances in that rack, couldn't make Aloysius pay, and now Yapp is about to be just one rack from victory. And it goes. Sharik Saeed looks slightly resigned to his fate in the chair. He now needs to win 9 in a row. Aloysius Yapp just needs one of a possible remaining 9 racks to become the One Play Q Sports Singapore 9-ball Invitational Matchup 2020 champion. And again, notwithstanding, he had a bit of luck there, and he acknowledged it to Sharik. He still, from that point on, just never looked like ceding control of what turned out to be the 12th rack of the match.
Exactly. I'm feeling a bit nervous right here, as I can see from the screen that Sharik is kind of like, what just happened, you know? And just big shout out to all the players that have been playing pool and snooker and billiards for the past 20 years, and currently right in front of me, right here, I do have a total of 45 medals that Singapore got in the Southeast Asian Games. 11 gold medals, 8 silver medals, and 26 bronze medals.
Wonderful haul. Wonderful haul. Right, this could be the last rack of the championships, David. So let's give it the due reverence it deserves, as Sharik Saeed still maintains he's not giving up yet, goes through his routine with the racking of Stephen Ng. He's happy with it, and he will desperately try and break and run here and just hope that the ball run does 180 degrees and starts going for him rather than for Aloysius. It's been a combination of a bit of bad luck from Sharik and some exceptional play from Aloysius Yapp that's led us to this position, and a 10-2 lead for the #1 seed. Well, he's got rid of the 1 off the break, and what's more, well, he's got a shot on the 2, but with awkward queuing. Doesn't look enamoured with that break, but it could have been worse.
Exactly. Actually, if you look at the breaks that Sharik did today, it clearly tells you that when you play the game of 9-ball, the break is very important. In every single time you get to break, you really have to treasure what you are given, and to capitalize as much as you can. It's been a pleasure to watch everybody watching this live with us, and we really want to shout out to all the youngsters out there who are really keen into learning this sport. Do join us at the Katong Shopping Centre, Q Sports Singapore Academy, or visit us at our website at www.qsports.org.sg.
Lovely words, David, and I'd encourage you to do that. Nice words from Nahid as well. Says, Sharik, keep the chin up. You're learning from your opponent. Well, I think he is, but Sharik would have expected better of himself today, and not done anything wrong. I mean, Aloysius is just so good, and as you saw, as David mentioned from that break, he didn't exactly get much luck. And something else I've noticed, more often than not in frames, he's having to use his extension early, which by nature puts you under pressure as the rack progresses. He's had to dig his extension up from his first shot from open play in this rack. Look at the bridging here. Well, he's playing a push-out's the option, and he has shown maybe a little bit more of that 2-ball to Aloysius than he would have intended here, because Aloysius surely, with a decent safety shot, can put Sharik in a bit of bother. I don't think Sharik will be coming back to the table for this one.
As mentioned by One Play Sports, connecting communities, creating heroes, we have down here Nahid mentioning that Sharik to keep up the chin, and you are learning from your opponent. That's where we create our communities, and to learn from each other and to grow as the players.
Well, that's Aloysius' turn to misjudge the pace. We saw a misjudged push shot from Sharik and then a misjudged reply from Aloysius, and Sharik does have a combination play here, 2 to 5. A lot of distance between both of them, but makeable. It looks like it should go. Needs to make this. If it doesn't go down, it could well be his last shot of this match. There's a lot of distance here. It's hard up against the bottom rail, but you'd expect him to make this combination. 2 to 5 is the shot. Oh my word, he's gone wrong on it. And is that the last Sharik side shot of this matchup? Aloysius like a hungry tiger coming to the table. Not straightforward here. 7 is in a pesky spot, but we know the 5's near the pocket. 2 goes down into the middle. Simple enough. Now turns his attention to the 4. We know where the 5 is, and is he going to finish off in some style here? Is this the end, David Ballard, for Sharik Saeed?
Yeah, we're looking at about 6 more balls on the table, and the only hope right here is from the 6 to the 7 ball. Once Aloysius gets it from the 6 to the 7 ball, he is very close to winning the $1,000.
Well, I don't want to preempt this being the last rack, but if it is, don't forget we'll be bringing you a full live presentation ceremony for this One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational Matchup 2020. Immediately following the conclusion of the match, we'll take a very short break, no more than 60 seconds, and then we'll be back with President Chris Stewart presenting the prizes and mementos to the officials who've been part of this magnificent occasion here at the One Play Sports Spectrum. Well, that shot to 7 could be the telling shot in this 13th rack, where Aloysius Yapp is now 3 pots away from becoming our champion.
Great attempt right there by both the players in this match.
So the 9 goes into bottom right hand corner pocket, and this is the ball game. Aloysius Yapp has put on a masterclass here. Sharik will rue some missed opportunities and some rotten ball run luck as well, but Aloysius Yapp clenches his fist, touches elbows with referee Steve Ung and his opponent. The two of them will remain great friends, I'm sure. That was a good performance. What more can you say about Aloysius Yapp? Number 1 for a reason, and he's proved it tonight.
Yes, that's right, exactly. And it's a big shout out to Aloysius Yapp right there. It's an encouragement because he has started playing pool since the age of 8 years old, and look at where he is at the age of 24.
David, marvellous work from you in the commentary position. Just give us that website address one more time as we see the winning 9 go down for Aloysius Yapp, for anyone watching who wants to get involved in 9-ball and Cuesports.
Exactly, so do tune in to our Facebook Cuesports Singapore, or to our website at www.cuesports.org.sg for more information.
We'll be back in just a couple of moments' time as the players stay in the arena, and President Chris Stewart will join us for the presentation ceremony for the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational matchup that has been won by Aloysius Yapp. He's beaten Sharik Saeed in the final by 11 racks to 2. Stay with us right here on One Play Sports.
We start each day with high hopes. We meet people, sharing rides with them. People who build their lives around family, around their children's future. People who rely on others to give them a helping hand. And those who cherish quality time with loved ones. And like everyone else, we find comfort in people we trust. People who understand our needs and raise us above all expectations. People who share our dreams.
Welcome back live into the One Play Sports Spectrum, where we have seen an Aloysius Yapp masterclass. He's beaten Sharik Saeed by 11 racks to 2 in a high-quality final to bring the curtain down on a high-quality week of 9-ball action here. Delighted to say that President Chris Stewart has joined us here in the Spectrum to conduct the presentation ceremony. But before we get to those prizes and acknowledgement of some of the officials involved this week, Chris, a couple of words from you about the week in general and what it's meant to the Cuesports Singapore family to be the first sport back here in Singapore live.
Well, I mean, indeed, we are very excited and we are very humbled at the same time by this privilege to be able to collaborate with one player in putting this together. And I'm sure in the past week we've seen magnificent action on the tables, and I hope all our viewers have thoroughly enjoyed themselves. And I think this also demonstrates that it's possible to come back to have a safe return to sport for everybody.
I think it's proved the appetite is there for Cuesports. We've had some great debate going on in the Facebook comment section. Talk of a Singapore against the Philippines-style Moscone Cup. Obviously, we've been talking billiards, we've been talking snooker. So it's put Cuesports to the forefront of people's attention. And let's hope this is the first of many tournaments. And post-COVID, we can bring some of the world's best international Cuesports players to Singapore to strut their stuff.
Yes, indeed. We are certainly looking forward to that day again and relishing the opportunity to use Singapore as a venue to host regional and international events going forward in the future.
And finally, before we let the players and the officials collect their mementos and, more importantly, prize money and trophy, a quick word about tonight's two finalists, because Sharik Saeed's been brilliant all week, both as an ambassador in the commentary box and on the table, and we're running out of things to say about Aloysius Yapp. Clearly, with age on his side, we've talked already on commentary about Peter Gilchrist being a world champion for Singapore in billiards. Aloysius Yapp, that's the hope we have to have from him, and he's shown tonight what he can do.
Yes, indeed. I think we are extremely proud of Aloysius, and we are also very proud of Sharik. And I think both players tonight, you all agree with me, put up an excellent performance. And I think Aloysius Yapp certainly has displayed tremendous potential, and we hope that he will continue to fly the Singapore flag high wherever he goes and wherever he plays.
President Chris Stewart, thank you very much. President, I'll ask you to stay there. I'm going to step out, if you like, over here, just so we maintain the COVID-19 social distancing regulations. And as I step into my position, it's now time to acknowledge all the officials that played such a part, as well, of course, as our great one-play team. Many thanks to Lily Liu and QH, the tournament director and assistant tournament director, respectively, for their incredible contribution, running things and keeping things ticking over smoothly here at the Spectrum all week. But we must thank our referees. We've only been able to invite 3 of them into the Spectrum to acknowledge their service this week. We, of course, thank all of the officials that were part of it. But please now welcome into the Spectrum the first of our 3 referees. We are going to recognise it's Alex Lim first. Alex, many thanks indeed. President Chris Stewart has a certificate of acknowledgement for you, and there'll be a nice photograph for Alex to take away. Touching the elbows. Someone, I'm sure, tonight's going to forget about the elbows and shake hands. Let's hope not. So thanks to Alex. Next up, please recognise the contribution of Winston Tang, another one of our referees to the tournament over the course of the last week. There's Winston. Thank you very much, Winston. He was in action throughout the course of the week. And last but by no means least, and we thank all 6 referees, it is the referee for our final tonight, Mr. Stefan Ng. So Stefan getting his certificate of acknowledgement. And now with our officials thanked, it's time to put the spotlight on the two players who put on such a master class tonight. Obviously, it didn't go his way, but he showed some marvellous shot-making skills to get to the final, including that incredible 5-rack run to see off Fraser Leo in yesterday's semi-final. He's fallen short at the final hurdle, but he still picks up a cheque for 400 Singapore dollars. President Chris Chua will now present that cheque to our runner-up, Sharik Saeed. Congratulations, Sharik. Many thanks indeed. Can you bank those cheques? I've always wondered whether you can actually take one of those to the bank. But there you go. Thank you very much. And President, if I could just ask you to step back a couple of paces to allow me in there in safe distancing. I know you wanted to get your hands on this, Sharik, and you're disappointed. You didn't get the ball run early, and when you give this guy, Aloysius Yapp, a 3 or 4 rack start, it's so difficult to get back into it as a contest, isn't it?
Yes, I think 80% of the game today was based on the break. Clearly, I didn't catch my break in the beginning. And every time I played a save, it seems like it turned back on me. So I felt like every open shot that I had was also difficult. So, he played well, he took his chances, and that's how 9-ball is sometimes.
Of course, we've talked a lot about all the players in the competition, but when you've not been in the commentary box, the likes of Fraser, Leo and David Ballard have been speaking to you about the changes you've made in your lifestyle, purely focusing on improving your game and taking COVID-19 not as a hindrance, but as an opportunity to reset. And even though you've been beaten tonight, you've got to the final. So I've had lots of people telling me you're looking far buffer. Not that I look out for these kind of things, but you're looking far buffer than you have done in the past. You're obviously feeling fit, you speak well, and you've played some great stuff. So your game's going in the right direction, and I'm sure you're very confident for the future.
Yes, I feel like I'm on the upswing. I feel like I've been improving lately. And this is just one of the matches that me and Aloysius have played. But in the background, me and him spar very consistently. So it's helping my game playing him frequently.
And a quick word on the winner, Aloysius Yapp, who's obviously beaten you comfortably tonight. Just how impressive is he, and how far do you think he can go in the world of 9-ball? Because we still forget how young he is. In his early 20s, he's got plenty of time left at the top.
Well, I think the sky is the limit for him. He has great potential. He plays extremely consistently, and he's very disciplined and has a training regime. So I think the sky's the limit.
Of course, with you having such a good team ethic and team bond, I'm sure you, along with the president and all the team at Cuesports Singapore, will help him reach his full potential. And we still haven't written you off as a chance to win major titles. Don't forget that. Many congratulations. I'm going to step back out now and allow you to retake your place. That is our runner-up, Sharik Saeed, who takes away 400 Singapore dollars. And last, but by no means least, as we bring the curtain down on this incredible week of 9-ball action, President Chris Chua will present a cheque for 1,000 Singapore dollars, courtesy of our friends at Eden Resources, and more importantly, the trophy and title of champion of the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational Matchup 2020 to the #1 seed, Aloysius Yapp. Aloysius, with his win by 11 racks to 2, takes yet another trophy to, I'm sure, what is a burgeoning collection, and it's by no means over yet. We have one photographer in attendance who's been COVID cleared and has taken the snaps, and the president is the check, and they touch elbows as well. Many thanks, Chris, if you step back. And Aloysius, please come in here. We can put the trophy in. I know you probably don't want to let go of that check, but we can put it down for now. Now, listen, I know to a certain extent you're a man of few words. You're quite a shy, retiring chap. But try and put into words what that performance meant to you, because you must be pleased to win like that. I mean, it was easy for you.
I didn't expect to win by such a far margin, but the luck really went my way today. To be honest, I feel quite bad for Sharik because he has worked hard a lot as well, but I guess today I got lucky.
No friends. Your friends off the table. When you step on the table, you obviously want to win as easily as you can, and you certainly did that tonight. Now, I could talk to you all day and all night because you fascinate me in terms of you're a Singaporean, one of those rare Singaporeans that's still young enough and got the ability to rise to the very top of your sport. And I'll be speaking to you at length. I know I've already told people on commentary you'll be joining us in the One Play Sports Spectrum for an extensive Wall of Fame interview, so I won't go into too much detail, but I do want to ask you one question. Do you think, I mean, we talked about Peter Gilchrist, do you think and do you believe you can become a 9-ball world champion? Because Singapore only has one world champion, that's Peter Gilchrist, across any sport, never mind Cuesports. Is that what your ultimate ambition is?
Of course, I want to be world champion, and I'll certainly work hard and hopefully do well and do my best and win it for Singapore.
Well, listen, we've seen a special man over the course of the last 7 days. It's the first sporting event live in Singapore post-circuit breaker. We've brought it to you live on One Play Sports, and you've heard it from the man himself. You might just have watched Singapore's next world champion in action. I will let you quite rightly take centre stage now. Please lift that trophy up for the photographers and the people watching at home and celebrate as the champion of the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational Matchup 2020. It is Aloysius Yapp. Thank you everyone and good night.